Hi. uh, I don't know if you noticed, I changed the picture of my last video after I had posted it. I have a picture of me and my younger brother when we were back in the day, when we were youngsters. And I love that picture. And my topic was about joy, so it brought me joy to look at that picture and share it with you. Now I want to talk about gathering wisdom. It's my lifelong work, along with other things. Spiritual equanimity, enlightenment. But gathering wisdom, research. In the 4 types of yoga the 4 yoga paths to enlightenment, jhana yoga, the path of knowledge, is what I'm talking about here. Essentially what you do, coupled with your meditation practice, and that meditation practice is an integral part of all 4 of the yogic paths. Karmic yoga, which is by action, by deeds. Bhakti yoga, by devotion, by chanting your guru's name, by chanting Buddha's name, by chanting Christ's name, by pureness of the heart, bhakti yoga. Kriya yoga or Raja yoga is about energy, it's about intuition, it's the 4th way. Jhana yoga, they say, is probably the toughest way, but each method is tailored to your individual, to the individual. Which one works? Bhakti yoga is pure devotion. It's so beautiful. Karmic yoga is those souls that do good deeds. The recent winner of the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, for instance. People dedicated to peace, people dedicated to improving, nurses, doctors, being a service. Anyway, we're talking about gathering of knowledge and the process. This is the jhana yoga, the path of knowledge. So what you do is you start out with information. We're flooded with information, right? Information is all around us. We can't escape it. Too much information is available. So your skill at sorting it, this is research. As I'm a retired professor, research is it's my methodology. It's what the tools I have. So I start with random facts. Facts. I use it very loosely, okay, in today's internet. What is alternative facts? That's a Trumpian, the days of Trump. Alternative facts. Yeah, I like that. I think he's an alternative fact that will be straightened out sooner or later. Probably sooner. But you start with information overflow, too much information, and you start sorting it. And this path needs 4 basic skills: to find, locate the information, to sort the information, to process and file the information, to store it, and then finally the 4th step is to be able to access it. So you need to work on 4 levels. Okay, so you start off with sorting through information, and you could be kind of indiscriminate about your source. It doesn't matter where it came from, because the sorting process, most of it is a constant process of throwing it out. Okay, let's move this to the next category. And the next category up from information is knowledge. So you start building this knowledge file. And you build and build and build until you have enough to continue processing it, to continue prospecting, to continue alchemy, to transformation. So you're transforming information into knowledge. You're taking something, transforming to take something and make it into something else. Alchemy, iron into gold. So information into knowledge. Okay, then you accumulate it. You accumulate. This is a research process. This is at least my research process. You accumulate knowledge and you accumulate knowledge. And then you start transforming it, like I just mentioned. And what you're doing is the ultimate goal of transformation is to take that, of alchemy, to take the iron, to take the lead, and make it into gold. It was lead, I believe. Okay. Take the lead and make it into gold. That's alchemy. So this refining process, this prospecting. So you've been prospecting, you've been mining, throwing out information. Now you got a pile of knowledge. Big pile. Or not so big. Information is unlimited. Knowledge is finite. It has a beginning and an end. Where information, it seems to be seamless, streamless, endless. So you have this pile of knowledge on your plate in front of you, in your little prospector, the ones that they use, they put some dirt in it, and they washed with water, and the heavy gold will settle to the bottom with the heavy knowledge. The nuggets, the heavy nuggets, the knowledge falls to the bottom of the pan, and you start collecting it. When you got enough, then you start another step of alchemy, transformation, changing knowledge into wisdom. The ultimate goal of the jhanic path, this path to enlightenment, is to gather wisdom, accumulate wisdom. So you got nuggets of gold. The wisdom are nuggets of gold. And so we start the process again. Remember, sorting, locating, sorting. Now you're storing your gold in your vault, in your safe, under your bed. I don't know where you keep your valuables, but nothing's more valuable than wisdom. At least for me. Because wisdom is the gateway to all good things. And most basic is to, once we've accumulated this wisdom, we are obligated to share it. We should share. And as a university professor, that's what I tried to do with my students, is share nuggets of wisdom. Okay, so I got this nuggets, and I hid it under bed and stuff, but I've been doing this for years, so how to remember what's in each little nugget of wisdom? And that's where the filing, I use computer language because it just suits this. We need to create a file. We need to store it somewhere on our hard drive. And all of this is internal, right? All these processes take place in that beautiful mind that we were given. So you have this wisdom, and you create files. Okay. Now you put the files in, but now you have to create a way to access. Wisdom is of very little value if you can't locate it. If you can't find it again when it comes time for sharing, or when it comes time to for application, when you apply this accumulated, stored wisdom. So you need a process of where to store it. And I go through a visualization. I like to think visually. Okay. I go through a system, and there used to be, I don't know if you've seen any pictures of old libraries where the library went way up to the ceiling, and they'd have this sliding ladder that would be slide on a bar up the top of the, above the books, and you could actually move the ladder so that you could, instead of just be limited by how high you can reach, you can store up to the ceiling. And I have a little guy come out with that kind of, the green beard, the accountant's hat, the green beard, with just what do they call that kind of hat? That visor? Is it a visor? Yeah, with a green bill, translucent green bill. Little old man, and he climbs up the ladder, and he'll move the ladder, and he'll climb up and get the information and deliver it. And I go through this process. So, okay. I mentally go into the storage room, the library, and ask my little guy, well, I don't do it. My little guy represents the mind, and I told you before, the mind is very useful for some particular jobs. It likes to do tasks. The mind is like a beautiful dog. I think of a golden retriever as the best dog ever. Smart, loyal, gentle, beautiful. Oh, they're beautiful animals. Anyway, the mind is like a golden retriever. Dogs want to please. You see my cat back there. She doesn't care about pleasing me. She cares about the other way around. I have to please her. I have to interpret her meows, right? She's the queen. Anyway, that's the difference between cats and dogs. One's a loyal friend and one's your overlord, your master. So, we're back to my visualization of my library, my little man who's accessing. I said, that's the mind. And remember, mind is like a dog, so I had to explain the difference. My cat wouldn't be useful for this metaphor. It's a dog. The mind is like a dog. Throw a bone. Make it go chase the bone. Give it a job. Give it a task. If you're bothered by the constant noise of your mind, that's where you learn through meditation and through evaluation that you'll never get rid of the noise. Your mind is a noisy organ, entity, I started to say. So you need to learn to control and to realize that very little of any lasting import comes from here. Everything that's useful, if you boil it down, if you really look at it, from here, comes from the heart. This is information. This even has knowledge. And a few nuggets, there's room physically for a few nuggets of wisdom. I try to share that. I like little idioms, I like little sayings, little quotes. I try to share them, particularly in these videos. And so give your mind a task. It's really, throw the bone, make it play fetch. Say, okay, and that's my little guy that goes up, my little librarian that goes up and accesses my information is my mind. I put my mind on task. I say, okay, what's the answer to this? Where did I leave that? What's that person's name again? Doable, simple tasks. You never ask for solutions. Solutions, again, are the province of the heart, belong to the heart. Solutions. Well, at its very best, the brain can come up with some, the mind can come up with some alternatives. Okay? Alternatives to give to the heart, to let the heart make the ultimate, the heart combined with your intuition, make the ultimate decision. So, I'm sharing this with you because this is how I tamed my mind. 33 years of rigorous Zen practice, of sitting straight, not moving, sitting in the half or lotus. I used to be able to sit in the full lotus, believe it or not. I won't even try now. But I had to ultimately give up, just like the Buddha gave up. Where he tried all these practices, I give up. And this is surrender, okay? Giving up is a kind of surrender. It is, that's what surrender really means, to give up. So when I gave up, then I started to understand a lot of things, like the nature of silence. Silence isn't the absence of sound, and I've talked about that before. So, the mind has a job. So it's part of the process. It's my librarian. I tell Fetch, get me this. And I give the mind credit for something. It can be pretty fast. It can also, on the other hand, be incredibly slow. But it can be instantaneous. Just boom. And the more you practice this process of storing it, creating the file, store the files, and accessing the files. So we go from gathering, again, gathering, sorting, creating files, storage, that's storage, create files for storage, and then access. And you can practice this, you're quite good at accessing. And this is for specific nuggets of wisdom. Hopefully with practice, the wisdom is just pouring out of every soul in your body. And it's osmosis, they can absorb it. You just generate it, they can absorb it without much conscious thought.